This morning I'm riding this 2026 Honda Goldwing Tour to Dallas Fort Worth from Midland, Texas. I was out here visiting my brother. You may have seen the video where I rode from Dallas to Midland. If not, I'll put a link to that video up in the corner of this video so you can check it out. It is a beautiful morning today. It's a Tuesday morning. It's about 73 degrees outside. Really nice weather. Not nearly as windy as it was the day I came out here, so I'm grateful for the nice weather.
So as you can see, there's a beautiful sunrise coming up here as I'm leaving Midland, Texas. It's a Tuesday morning, and we're just getting an incredible look at this beautiful sun coming up on the horizon. I'm on Loop 250 heading toward Interstate 20. And something I haven't done in a while is really pay tribute to some of the other YouTube channels that have really been instrumental in supporting Cruiseman's Garage, and they support the community. Now, I'm probably going to leave someone out, but I'm going to try to go through a list of YouTubers that you should probably subscribe to and check out. Of course, you all know Robert White Moto. He lives in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Also, check out Texas 2-Lane. That's Don Smith's new channel. He's relaunching Honda Goldwing Adventures. If you want to see some real interesting day rides in the Texas area, and he goes all over. He doesn't just Texas, he goes everywhere, but still, Tom's Goldwing Adventures. Tom Miller, just one of the great local people here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And we got Lone Star Ridecast. You might want to check his channel out. Also, Wing Stash has a new channel that, you know, these guys that start up these new YouTube channels, they could use a little bit of support. So make sure when you go watch their videos that you go ahead and subscribe to their channels. F6B Adventures, Adden, puts a lot of content on his channel. Of course, Sensei at Ride Fit Nation, he puts out a lot of videos. And last but not least, of the ones I can remember off the top of my head, Slappy's Adventures. Oh, and Gold Rider 1. I can't forget Mac over at Gold Rider 1, because Mac has always promoted Cruiseman's Garage. Thanks for all your support, Mac. And I said last but not least when I talked about Slappy, but I guess now it's last would be Max over at Traction.com or Traction Dynamics, and I think it's just Traction. At Traction is the YouTube channel. I'll put it on the screen.
I knew I was going to leave somebody out accidentally, and I want to make sure to give props to our friend up in Canada, Larry, with Goldwing Moments. So make sure you check out Goldwing Moments as well.
So I guess the worst part of riding back to DFW from Midland is you have the sun in your eyes, and it takes a while, a couple hours, for that sun to rise up enough so that it doesn't really impede your visibility. And it also is impeding the visibility of the people behind you. So you have to always be aware of traffic behind you, not being able to see a motorcycle. And that's why it's so important, in my opinion, to have as much light on the rear of the bike as possible. I don't think the Honda Goldwing tail lights provide nearly enough light to adequately make you visible to traffic coming up from the rear. That's why I've got the Pathfinder LED spoiler on my trunk, because that puts the tail light and the brake light and the turn signals sort of eye level with an automobile. And then I also have the center tail light right above the license plate just for some additional light. And I also have the brake-free helmet light, which is up high. Now also, that's why I think it's important to wear high-vis gear. You'll notice I always wear a white helmet, because to me a white helmet is much more visible than a black or a gray helmet. It kind of stands out. And I also wear the high-vis riding jacket. This is an Olympia jacket that they don't make anymore. And now I've got this Helite airbag vest that I'm wearing on top of my riding jacket, and it's also high-vis, and it also has a lot of reflective material on it. And I am on this road trip, I am sort of testing out this airbag, this Helite airbag vest. Now, my friend Dale, who is an MSF instructor, he wears this vest every time he gets on the bike. He also has an airbag model Goldwing, because he's a big believer that this airbag technology can save your life. And there is some evidence to suggest that's the case. What I do know is I haven't heard of any evidence of an airbag model or an airbag vest causing any harm, especially as we age. Many of the people that ride a Honda Goldwing, many of the people that are on my YouTube channel are more mature. They're not necessarily old, but they're, I'd say, 40 years old and above. There are some exceptions. There are some in their 30s. But the majority of our riders that are part of this community are, I'd say, in their 40s and above. There's probably many of them in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. And maybe even more than that. So, I believe the older you get, the more important it is to wear protective gear, because your body is not going to bounce back and recover from injury like it would when you were 25 or 35 years old. I see these guys riding these sport bikes with no, t-shirts and shorts and flip-flops, and they're just asking for it. I'm just going to enjoy the rest of this ride. It's about 74 degrees right now. It's not nearly as windy as it was on the way out here. So hopefully I'll get better gas mileage today. I'm going to try to get all the way to Abilene before I have to stop for gas. And we got some construction coming up right now. So I'm back at Casey's outside of Abilene. Gas prices have already dropped. Of course, they signed the Iran deal, or they're getting ready to sign the Iran deal. Apparently, it's been agreed to. So gas prices are already dropping. What was it, $3.28 or $3.38 last 5 days ago when I was here? So it's already dropped 10 or 20 cents a gallon. I can't tell. I don't remember what I paid. I'll put it on the screen. I'll have to look it up. But I suspect gas prices will be under $3 here in Texas within the next week or two. If it means Iran is not going to have a nuclear weapon, I think it was probably worth the temporary pain of high gas prices and I guess there were some other high prices too, besides just gas. But it will all come back. Okay, we're going to see what my gas mileage is here for this first leg of the trip home. It's not nearly as windy as it was coming out here the other day. So I'm hoping that that is reflected in my gas mileage. I'm also going to go inside this Casey's. I want to see kind of what it's like inside. Okay, the moment of truth. We're going to see just what kind of gas mileage I'm getting. Okay, 1471. 3.179. And I got 3.937 gallons. Okay, we definitely have an improvement in our gas mileage. For that leg, 43.7. I can live with that. So we definitely have improved our gas mileage, and I think it's due to the wind or lack thereof. Okay, I'm going to run inside. So after filling up with gas, I'm back on the road. The next stop is going to be Dallas-Fort Worth, and I will stop for gas one more time once I get home, right before I get to the house, just to get a total mileage for the road trip. The rest of this ride home was pretty warm. It got up into the 90s, and I was ready to get home. I made it home about 12:30. I'll check in with you again when I stop for gas after I get home. So I stopped to fill up for gas at a quick trip once I got back to Dallas-Fort Worth, and my mileage was 42.3 for the final leg. So for the entire road trip back and forth to Midland, I averaged 39.93 miles per gallon. This might be the first time I've ever done a road trip to Midland where I only stopped one time, which was right outside of Abilene. I usually stop twice, once in Eastland and once in Sweetwater. So I would like to take a second to thank Breezy Rider for sending me the seat cover. I think it makes it much easier for me to do 150 to 180 miles without stopping. Usually I'm only good for about 100, maybe to 100, 125 miles. But I was able to stay pretty comfortable even with the longer ride. So that was good. In fact, I went 187.5 miles on that last leg to here. That's probably the farthest I've ridden without stopping for gas in as long as I can remember. I don't ever remember going over 180 miles. Usually, Robert will tell you when we went to Colorado, I needed to stop every 125 miles, it seemed like. I kind of enjoy it more when I stop more frequently, but I was okay. I was pretty comfortable. It wasn't as hot today. It wasn't as windy today. It was hot, but not as windy. But I think I'm noticing the heat a little more because of this Helite vest. It does, it adds another layer, and it kind of blocks the mesh in my jacket. Right now it says 96 degrees. I think that's because I just stopped. I think it's about 90 to 92 degrees out here right now. And it's tolerable. It's not windy today at all, which is good. So all in all, it was a good ride home. It was safe. No incidents of any kind. The traffic was not as bad as it usually is. I left about 6:30 this morning, and it is about 12:42 right now. So it took me about 6 hours to get from Carrollton. It's about 350 miles from Carrollton to Midland. Also, I want to welcome Southern Honda Power Sports I put out a video yesterday, a podcast with Walter from Where's Walter Travel. We were just talking about the group cruise coming up in January. Walter is our travel agent that's handling everything, making all the bookings with the cruise line. Literally 10 minutes after I edited and posted the video, I got an email from Southern Honda Power Sports that they are now one of the sponsors of that group cruise. So thank you to Southern Honda Power Sports. They are the largest Honda Goldwing motorcycle dealer in the country. They're located in Eastridge, Tennessee. I'll put their information in the description of the video, but thank you, Southern Honda, for sponsoring. Basically what that means is they're going to help cover the cost of some of the things we're going to do on board, some of the special stuff. So thank you to Southern Honda. So thank you for joining me today. Once again, if you enjoyed this video, do me a favor, give it a thumbs up. It's much appreciated. Until I see you on the next Cruiseman's video, remember what I always say, ride often, but ride safe.